Welcome here to the start of week number 2 of the Cyto GG Path2Pro Combine for League of Legends. As you might have heard, there is a Valorant one coming a little bit later on, possibly next year, which is going to be a lot of fun, but that's for future. We're here with the OG Riot game, League of Legends, and I'm excited. My name is Orbital. With me is Quacks, and we have a treat for you. Starting this week, we're going to start seeing a lot of restrictions and a lot of changes to how the draft works, and that makes it more exciting for our 10 players here on the Rift today. Quacks, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm excited. Saito did this last year where they kind of added some contingencies onto the drafts and sort of tested these players. Because, again, as I've said multiple times on the stream and multiple times on the broadcast that I've covered here on Saito for this year, this isn't necessarily about how many games you win. It is about how you adapt, how you
Yep.
improve, as people are watching out for those things and keeping you in mind for 2026. Again, I kind of say it all the time, but it's more of a retrospective for a lot of these players and kind of that extra little bit of a leg up going into the next year that they can use to maybe get ahead of the competition. So, if this week it is basically preset drafts, we are taking a draft from the ongoing tournament that is Worlds
Hey.
2025 and applying it to games 1 and 2. Team A is going to be playing one of the drafts, and then next game they will be playing the other. So the teams are going to switch
Yes.
around what the comps will be. This will test like matchups. This will be able to test comfortability on certain meta picks because looking at the list and looking at what we have here for this block orbital, these are all champions that are like S plus in the meta. So these
Yep.
are characters that you should know how to play if you're wanting to go pro and you are wanting to adapt into the current meta and really take that next step.
Not just that, it's also about testing how you could almost better against those pros that have played it at the
Yeah.
highest level in there. Let's go ahead and run through the comps. As you can see down below, our players are going to be Ariana, Tahe, Toasty, Enthralled, and Mixture, I believe, for Team A. For Team B, it's Denethor, Aeon, Crystal, Samikin, Kisno, as well as Tub, which I believe Kisno is stepping in, I think,
Yes.
for Sajid. We just got word of that one, but it's still good either way. And the game that they will be emulating here on the day is the opener that made so many LPL fans so sad in Swiss Round 3. It is game 1 of the KT Rollster versus Top Esports matchup, where we did see Top Esports unfortunately lose out in that series.
Yeah, and honestly, probably the biggest killer for the pick'ems yet, Orbital, where a lot of people did not expect KT, the LCK fourth seed, a team that a lot of people said shouldn't even be here. This should be like a freebie for the West, right? I thought that. And somehow they're one of the 3-0 teams. So, yeah, KT
Yep.
ended up taking this series against Top Esports and started what might just be a Damwon Kia like choke where they end up going down to the 2-3 because now if you haven't caught up on Worlds, you do that. But spoilers, Top Esports, the team most known for choking, is doing just that. So, yeah, but looking at these drafts right now, again, like I said, this is all stock standard stuff. I mean, Rumble versus
Yep.
Ambessa is a super common matchup. Wukong and Jarvan are two of the most picked junglers at the tournament. Jarvan on a win streak after he was doing his best Callista at MSI cosplay. And then you've got Aurora Annie, you've got Corki versus Kaisa, and then you got Nautilus versus Nico. And so one thing that I'm really looking at for this draft, right as I witness it for the first time, Orbital, I am looking at this to be basically the early game show for Team A. You've got a lot of early
Yep.
pressure, you've got double AP solo laners, and you have Nautilus. And so this should be a really easy game for Tahe to just say, you know what? I don't have to worry about my lanes. They're going to be on the offensive. They'll probably have push most of the time. I can afford to get to that level 6, not waste time, and really get on the map with my Cyclone, because that is when this champion really starts to hit the ground running. Whereas Jarvan, it's a little bit more of that early proactivity that maybe we'll see out of Aeon Crystal.
And not just that, a huge focus is in that ban system as well that we saw earlier. One of the interesting things that we saw multiple bans when it came from Top Esports sent over to KT Rollster, where in that mid lane, excuse me, it was a very, very heavy focus, which is where we saw that Aurora fall down in the listing. So I did want to kind of bring that out as, again, the bans,
Yeah.
obviously we didn't get to toss it, they didn't get to. So it's like, how do you adjust in that piece? One of the things that you talked about is that bot side. It was very interesting as well. But the Annie is such a, I don't know. I always, whenever I see Annie's, it's always like, we had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for CC. I'm so sorry. Let's go ahead and toss it out there. I was thrilled to watch this between the pros themselves, but watching this play out here, I'm interested to see exactly how this pans out because we just mentioned the
Yeah.
J4 is doing very well, but again, to match up, and we'll go through it as the game progresses. Don't get me wrong, we'll talk about it, but it'll be very fun to see where things go well if Team B comes away with the victory, because that R5 Mbessa was also a huge playmaker, and for top esports, it actually did very well in their game.
It did, and I think one of the most interesting things that at least I'm looking at for this game is going to be Samikin on the Annie. I mean, Samikin, I
Yep.
think, has been one of the most impressive players through Saito so far. I know that we're not supposed to mention wins and losses, but I mean, he has been basically winning every single game that he's been a part
Yeah.
of, and every single team throws a ton of concern bans at him. They ban away his Hwei, they ban away his Zoe, they'll ban away his Mel. The champions that I just listed, his pocket picks, his comfort picks, these are all long range mages. Annie is not one such case. This is about as short ranged as you can get. So it does feel like Samikin is playing a little bit further from his base. And it really goes back to that flexibility point. So I think Toasty versus Samikin, these are two of my most anticipated mid laners in the NACL. I'm totally going to be keeping my eyes out on these players because they are two of the most talked about, frankly, Orbital.
I like it. I like it. You got to get that magic in there as I guess Tub is off to a very interesting start in there. Decided that, hey, I might not, I'll take a step above the pros. Lost their flash immediately. I'm guessing they pressed D as they were exiting base. So I just want to point that out. Listen, you're going to one up the pros by saying, I don't need flash. That's pretty impressive already.
Yeah. Oh, Tub is handicapping himself. He knows exactly what he's doing. And
Yeah.
hey, they won't know because he did it in
True.
fog. So mind equals controlled. We're not gonna anticipate here
Oh,
for
wait, what if he
Mixture.
did it on a ward?
I think
That would be
I
even
think
better.
I
I
think
don't know. I don't know.
I think Mixture has streamer mode on, so we're just gonna be seeing Nautilus for the entire time.
Oh,
That's a no go.
that
That's a no
scares
no.
me.
All right,
That
no
scares
flash.
me. All right. Listen, no flash available, no craziness. Either way, the pacing is going to be okay. We take a look at things and say, okay, how do the lanes expire? And keep in mind, when we saw this with top esports, they actually played, if I'm not mistaken, the laning phase exceptionally well in the early stages. They came out to a 1-3 lead over KT Rolster specifically. So watching this composition, it could be, the level 6 is hit and everything, and it just slams down a win as we do see Ariana on the bot side with the Nautilus and saying, all right, we're gonna play this short range comp even further.
Yeah, and one thing that I always warn against with these lane swaps, I think Ambessa can be a really punishing champion to swap into as an AD carry because of how much damage he can deliver in the early game. So it's going to be kind of on enthralled to really keep control and be disciplined about using that Valkyrie defensively instead of looking for these offensive trades onto Denethor, who can easily close the gap and look to trade with him. I also think that this swap has a lot more value in just harming the Ambessa, though. It's kind of a two-way street where you have Grasp of the Undying. You're not really going to be able to proc it all that much.
Ooh, well, look at this early little hook with a lollipop at the end to give Samikin a lot of extra damage. Very nicely done in there. And, for Mixture, it's nice to get that early roam off when you already know you're not going to be really winning that bottom side.
Yeah, but you could see that he has no concern roaming because, like you said, it's just about putting pressure on the other sides of the lanes. Ariana is just kind of have to deal with it for the time being, as Denethor also has to deal with it. I do wonder if we'll be seeing some roams after this crash from Tub, and maybe the Nico tries some stuff in the lanes as Samikin.
Round number 2, no flash loss on Samikin's side. It's just another HP, but this is even worse because of that pressure that we see being laid down. Samikin just came back after teleporting in, which means you have to stay in lane and just pray to God you don't die.
Yeah, Samikin. Ooh, hang on, we gotta dive onto Ariana.
I like this one. Hiroshina sending in the cavalry. Ariana gonna hold off, and I love that cannon weight. What a brutal way to play it off. Tub with an appropriate tower dive, took 4 tower shots, and made it easy.
That was just insane by Tub. Turning into the cannon minion, being tanky. Toasty just killed Samikin.
Ooh, okay. We're seeing some trades. We're seeing some developments here. And Tubbs showing exceptional knowledge, but Toasty making appropriate use of opportunity.
Yup, Toasty, no flash onto Samikin means that he can aggress right onto him, and that's exactly what he does. And this is what we talked about. We said that these are two of the most anticipated mid laners in NACL, but Samikin is playing very much so a style that we don't associate with him. We'll have to see how he does against a player who is definitely on his caliber, even when he is playing his comfort characters.
That's what we want to see. We want to see that flexibility. Are you able to play with the rest of the team? Are you able to kind of make adjustments, or is the team going to help out? You can see Tub hiding in the back line, kind of waiting for an opportunity. Made the tower dive easy on the bot side, but now wants to give Samikin a chance because we already see a roam back by this Nautilus. Once again, it's Mixture saying hello. There's no flash of sidestep, though, as Samikin stays out of harm's way. That has to be the most frustrating thing for Samikin to deal with.
Yeah, Samikin flashing away. He's not going to like that one either, because with how present Mixture has been toward the middle of the map, it does mean that Samikin is probably going to be forced under his own tower, and this can significantly hurt some of these more early game threats like the Jarvan and their ability to impact that part of the map and make these aggressive plays as Ariana.
It's going to be a catch. Kizno getting burned down a little bit here. Can you get the 1v1? No, Kizno pops the full debuff, and it is gonna be the stacks rending true. That is gonna be a 1-2 lead in kills over to Team B.
Yeah, Ariana just pushing up a little too far, didn't have the vision on Tub, and Nico makes the most of it. So while we've been seeing Mixture impact the mid lane, it does seem like Tub is more concerned about the bot lane, getting Kizno ahead and making sure that this Kai'Sa has those conditions ready by the time they do team fight, because there are a lot of very damage dealing threats on Team A, a lot of upfront damage. Specifically, you've got the Aurora, right, with her full combo. You've got the Overheat potentially on the Rumble, and then you've got the Wukong, who will eventually have the Cyclone. And so I do think getting Kizno ahead, allowing him not to get instantly one-shot by those threats, has to be at the top of Team B's priority. And it seems like Tub is understanding that assignment here.
As we pace ourselves, 6.5 minutes into the game. Yumbu, as well as look over on the other side, the J4 taking some moments. Aeon Crystal saying we're going to be having our own. They're waiting because this dragon is currently spawned up. I don't think anyone's chanced away over there just yet, but the eyes are out as Kizno and Tub holding it down with that tri-brush coverage.
And you can see level 6 dinged here by Aeon, immediately going to the bot side, wanting to make a play, skipping that Gromp. Tahe is also in the area, though, and like we talked about in the draft orbital, that's really when this champion can come online.
Nice little draw back towards the tower, though, so this is going to be Mixture holding him down, but the tower ain't going to do enough. And it's a lean as clean as you can be. Team A, Team B making a mirrored 1-3 scoreline, as it is going to be Team B with the Fetal Warfare.
Really good stuff there from Aeon. Immediately gets the Cataclysm, looks for a pick, looks for a play, and goes onto the flashless target of Samikin.
Samikin barely stepping to the side, but the electrocute takes it away, and Toasty is once again back in the driver's seat. We mentioned the short range of the Annie. It's starting to yield results for the side of Team A as they abuse that fact.
And I mean, Aurora might also be short range, but that ultimate is very all-encompassing. It hits Samikin straight in the face. Ariana is there to drop the missiles on him as well. There's no real way to get out of that danger when you don't have flash. And so Samikin, yet again, going down here in this game, those struggles that we talked about being away from your champion pool, still festering here in the early game. And now that he's gone, now that he is out for the time being, it is just Team A going onto the grubs, but they aren't going to push themselves. They're just going to get the one. So Team B should be able to pick up the other two and at the very least get that credit for the feat.
Especially with Kizno in the wings. Kizno's currently being propped up by the 3 amazing kills that were gifted there in the bottom side. Really nice utilization of, if we can give the kills, we are going to do so. And as you mentioned, a little bit of that power through as we finally see the top laners meeting up on the top side. Denethor and Ariana have a moment to split. Ariana already down 0-2 and 1. It might be being prepped for a tower dive once again, but the junglers are in the wings, both pinged out, so no force by Aeon Crystal, saying, okay, I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah, Aeon Crystal didn't have vision of Tahe on that bot side when he cataclysmed Mixture for that play, but I do think that if Wukong was just a little bit closer to the play, they could have turned that one around and he might have thought twice about it. He has that luxury now. He gets vision onto Tahe, thinks better of it, and ultimately decides not to go, especially because that Cyclone is ready for the jungler of Team A. A lot of attention still being paid toward that tower dive, though.
And a good flash away. Ariana is going to stay safe. In comes the Cyclone to deny. Equalizer comes out to slow everyone down, and Denethor is going to burn, but they don't want to overforce, even though the HP bars are low. So instead, it's just a denial, but a huge one by Team A.
Really good patience there as Kisno.
Oh. That's going to be diving into the mid lane, and you can see Kisno slinging those 3 kills around, has the Kraken Slayer available, which means down goes Enthralled. Bot side tower dive not going to go well either, as Samikin is surviving for so long. That's going to be a 2-for-1. Huge break for Team B.
And it's just not enough damage. Toasty isn't able to find the one-shot, and Samikin as well, dodging the last auto from Mixture by maneuvering around the turret, playing some Ring Around the Rosie with Team A. And it's 2 roses that prop up in the graves of those players who go for the tower dive. Samikin does trade his life, but it is damn worth it, as he was struggling so much before that orbital, and now he finds himself with 2 kills in his back pocket and a lead into this game out of base.
I mean, that just stings. You have to be honest. That stings quite a bit for Team A.
Yeah.
They were the ones to deny on the top side. They were trying to make a play on the bottom and say, hey, maybe we can get even more. They're the ones that are like, dude, we could have had 3 kills on the top side if we had maybe a bit more damage or anything like that. They just couldn't. And watching Samikin now come back into the game when they involved, what was it, 9 minutes total to trying to take that mid lane. It's now in a rough spot. Tub being burned away won't really fall here, has no equalizer, but still, the scales are swinging.
They absolutely are. Samikin kind of back into this game now as Denethor. The pings are coming through from Team A to maybe look for a tower dive, as Ambessa doesn't have flash or public execution, but is still pretty damn tanky. You've got the Caulfield's Warhammer, you've got the D-Shield, and you've got some pots to go along with it. So there are tools that can make this attempt very, very difficult. Not to mention, you don't have vision of Tub and you don't have vision of Kisno. They could very well be in the corner, and we've seen a couple failed tower dives throughout this game. I don't think Team A want to add on to that pot.
Yeah. Or they want to. It's one or the other. Tub in the vicinity, though. Bot side is really where we're watching, though.
Oh, boy,
Ariana gets jumped on once again. Samikin taking it up, has the bear out to play, but it ain't going to be a death. Instead, it's a force away on the Ariana side. Well done by Team B to call that off.
Yeah, also really well played there by Ariana. He forced the Tibbers out of Samikin, thus making the Annie tank the tower, which I think was not the plan there from Aeon and Samikin. They wanted to get Aeon tanking because he is the tankier member of the two, and then he would have had the flash to get out as well. But unfortunately, because Annie was tanking up the aggro, wasn't able to deliver more damage onto that target, and so it goes awry. So a lot of tower dives being attempted by both of these teams, but not a ton being successful so far. Sure.
Well, this isn't really a tower dive, but it's Kisno saying, give me my 5th, currently unstoppable with the damage output.
It's a swan dive. It's not a tower dive. They go straight onto that guy. No fear whatsoever. They know he's completely alone, and so they get another kill onto Kisno. And by the way, Kisno is a jungler. He's 5-0 on Kai'Sa. I just have to point that out.
We really, really do. That is brutal work, even before the coal goes down, which, by the way, is sitting on 18 stacks, 2 ahead of poor Enthralled, who is sitting at 0-1-0. It's been a rough game for Enthralled, which when they were talking about the matchups before, they mentioned that when it comes to the Corki versus Kai'Sa matchup, Corki tends to win out a little bit towards that mid to late, has the shred potential, has the ability to almost negate with the Valkyrie. The fact that Enthralled is behind right now bodes so well for Kisno come this mid late.
And it's also going to be a little bit rough for Enthralled if he's not able to find something back, because look at how many pick tools are on Team B. I mean, you've got the Nico, you've got the Annie, you've got the Jarvan. This is literally an AD carry's nightmare. And so you have a short-ranged ADC with only 1 escape tool, and you better be using that wisely. Otherwise, a flag and drag is going to be hitting you right in the face. So I do think Enthralled at this point maybe going to get a little bit desperate to try and catch up to Kisno. And if he isn't careful, that could put him in a worse situation than what he is at right now.
Would agree on that point. Right now, we are seeing the shakeup, though. As 14 minutes expire, plates do fall, which means it's all about just getting that first tower. Remember, the feat is over on Team B's side. They're the ones getting tower pressured, though, so it might not go their way. Denethor hasn't really had phenomenal moments so far, but has the opportunity a little bit later. It is going to be a hook out, though. We do watch Mixture send that one stray mid lane. We're seeing the juggling of Aeon just waiting for an opportunity, and everyone just kind of making sure to set their battle lines before things go into the big fight.
There's about a million pings coming up toward that top side river.
Yeah, I
Even
just saw
though
that.
Team A really want to make a play on Denethor, they don't really have control of the river. Team B are populating that area, and so they can't move down. They can't afford to actually fight them either. Because Kisno is in the area, has Flash, has Killer Instinct, so they're being very mindful, but they're face checking the bush.
And I think that might be an opportunity. Team B stepping into the mix. Aeon waiting, but the Pop Blossom goes
Oh,
sideways,
Tub.
which opens up space for the jump back. Great pick number 1 onto the J4. And now it's turning to Samikin's in the battle. Said hello with the stun on the other side, but the other side is way too real. Reality puts Tub on the back seat as this is Tae to bring the damage behind. Good pickup by Denethor to make it even, but the bloody brawl is a whole different way as Team A bleed those health bars dry. Kisno still able to survive, which is the main point, but disaster striking for Team B as they lose so many.
I mean, Team B looking for that snap engage, but I think Aeon Crystal didn't anticipate the flash from Mixture. He completely whiffs it and then finds himself in the middle of the entire team. He gets taken down. And at this point, the numbers disadvantage had already hit Team B. Kisno was looking for any excuse to Killer Instinct in and join the fight, but his jungler dies too quickly. He's not able to arrive. And by the time it does seem like he can enter the fight, he doesn't want to. His team's conditions are completely shot, and Team A have already won the fight, so they do get 3. They won't be able to get an objective off of it. You can actually see Aeon, first one back onto the map because he was the first one to die in that fight. He's just ripping right onto that Herald ahead of this dragon.
I mean, that's perfect. You say, hey, we got to make up somewhere. We're not terribly far behind, even though that mix-up was horrendous, and you're now only 300 gold difference. You could still have some sort of early play in there. Now, of course, Dragon is currently available. It is just a cloud, not the biggest one in the world, but the soul is really what we want to see. So where do they apply their pressure? We can see Mixture right now waiting off of the wings. No one in position, so all your vision will be cleared out as well. It's a little bit bad, but they're looking as topside. Denethor and Toasty Alex going at it like cats and dogs. This poor Aurora just trying their best to stay alive.
I like what Denethor is trying to do. He's trying to chunk out Toasty and essentially relinquish control of the top side, force him to either make a decision with his low health bar, right? Do you go back and then teleport to the base and try to save your turret, or do you go back, give up your turret, and then join up with the rest of your team, which Denethor can immediately do as well because he also has teleport. He's trying to put him in kind of a lose-lose situation, if you will.
Oh, perfect execution. No way out. And you are just gone. Feels bad. Toasty is down between the worlds.
And you can also see Dragon picked up for Team B as well. So they get the 3 objectives on top of the 3 kills. That'll be the feats claimed for them. Team A really only have the 1 grub to their name so far. They have been matching Team B somewhat in these fights and in these exchanges, that most recent one being the prime example, but they haven't really been able to find objectives off of their success. And so because of that, Team B are slowly inching ahead in this game, both in gold, in tempo, and in their win cons. As you can see, Denethor really starting to hurt with that solo kill onto Toasty.
Yeah, this has been an interesting pacing so far, much more bloody as well. And of course, with a challenge of the Hextech Soul to play for, means that these could get even more explosive. Extra ability haste, extra attack speed, everything going just awry. For Team B, though, they're starting to make moves around the rest of the map, watching that TP come in from Mixture, who is running, of course, that unsealed spellbook. Shouldn't be too much of a trouble, but they're teleporting to the other side of the map. And that's a little bit surprising. Tae going, hey, I found 1 or 2. Let's clear out the wards. Let's get pressure. Let's allow this bot side to be taken.
Yeah, but Tahe's on a timer here. I mean, look at the rest of Team B. They're in the area. They're roaming on down, and they're trying to collapse onto them, which they will.
Good little grab. That's going to be Mixture to start things up, and no real damage come through. TP a little bit later. Tae looking. Another Pop Blossom denied, though, and that's what Tae's waiting for, but the root was more than enough. In goes the Cataclysm to try and catch Toasty Alex, but all they find is Mixture, and Mixture is going to get mixed 3 ways to Sunday.
Oh,
Aside from the back end, though, as it's almost never ending. Toasty Alex says, I've felt this before, and I don't want to feel it again. Well done to a 2-piece combo for Team B. That's going to be a chance. Aeon wants to make it 3. Is it going to happen? Good sideways step. And it just looks to be the tower clear. Could dive further, bye-bye Toasty. Kill in the mid lane as well. As where did that dive come from?
Yeah.
Kizno is now 8-0-1.
This mid game is just falling apart for Team A at the seams. It's Tahe that gets picked. Initially, it kind of looked a bit scuffed because that Pop Blossom went wide, but then the flag and drag hits. The pursuit is there. And they get the Herald. They take not one, but two towers, and now they're going for some fighting in the bot side. A teleport there for Ariana as well.
And big flyby. Yeah, as you said, Ariana joining on in. Denethor, though, saying I might not be as strong as I think, only has the Eclipse. Gonna try and snipe their way over.
Nah,
Maybe turn
he
around as Ariana's
overheated.
taking quite low. That's gonna be the fight back. Aeon says I can do this. Kizzo is here to clean up. What a collapse to come in from the very fed ADC as Kizzo is the ganker for Team B.
And Kizno cosplaying as a jungler, but little did you know, he's actually a jungler. He's just playing Kaisa and having an absolute pop-off game here on this pick. 9-0-1. The sustain from the top side of Team B is enough to buy that time, and the Otacon will be their reward. 20 minutes into the game, 6-16. This game feels so damn far out of Team A's reach.
I cannot believe the amount of power that we just saw come down. Team B saying this is how you play the comp. This is how you get a lead. This is how you make sure the Kaisa remains relevant through the entirety of the game. 3 items completed so far. You're looking at the dragon in just about a minute. You're looking at this freestanding gold, which is the top side tower as well to clear.
There's still some standing gold, like you said, for Team B, and they're going to try and claim it so they're as strong as possible for this dragon. I don't expect a fight to come out here for Team A because of how far behind they are, but doesn't hurt to be prepared.
Let's see if it's going to be anything else. Good tag onto Enthralled. Kizno is just kind of waiting off, saying, I can do this if I really, really want to, but am I going to sacrifice my 700 gold bounty? Absolutely freaking not. Who in the right mind would do that? But if the rest of my team shows up, maybe we get that tower dive. As long as we get that hardcore CC down, Enthralled ain't going anywhere. Chances are abound. Tahe.
Yep.
Maybe looking on the side to go ahead and deny, and they do really nice stop as Aeon has to back away. And you don't just Cataclysm and pray that your team gets away to safety. Maybe a look on the other side as Ariana cannot survive against Kizno. So it's still a 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was bloodthirsty from Kizno, but I absolutely love it. Trades that 1-for-1, and now it's a 3v4 in the mid lane.
And it's all Kizno. It ain't a 3v1. It's a 4v1. It's brutality beyond brutality's sake. Denethor cutting off the wave and saying, I have all the ability in the world. That's going to be poor Tahe running for the hills. And there's nowhere that Team A can control the map. Team B rule all.
Yeah, Team B, though, going to have to stall a little bit on the dragon. They're going to go for their resets. They don't have Aeon alive at the moment, and Tahe is still around, so could look for a smite fight if they do start up the dragon as Tub.
Another good catch, and it's just auto upon auto. That's Tub and Samikin, by the way. The least fed members, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you're just shredding through Tahe's HP bar.
You don't even need to kill him at this point. Like, as long as you're chunking the Wukong, you're making it harder for him to enter that pit and look for some kind of smite 50-50. So he might as well be good as dead. They don't get the kill, and they don't claim the gold for it, but they will claim the dragon. And I feel like that is as good a prize as any. So this will be sole point now for Team B. We've got about a minute and a half until the Baron as well, Orbital. And now I think when you have this soul, when you have all this pressure, and when you honestly are just starting to get to that point where you can wallet diff the enemy team, just look for a member of Team A that is alone, such as Ariana possibly, and transition that into an objective.
A free tower in the mid lane. Not exactly what I expected, but it is for real. All Kizno and Tubbs. Team B are starting to put the stranglehold down as we are set at just 24 minutes. They're on soul point. They have the enemy jungle. They are starving Team A out. It is never ending right now.
You think top esports are taking notes right now?
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that right now, but probably 100% they are, because this is This is a masterclass. Well done by the. Okay, well, maybe a fight back. Mixture is looking, said, hey, we found Samikin, who, again, has been brutalized here in the early game. Pop Blossom on the side, though, is
Ooh.
Top. Okay, maybe Top isn't taking Tubbs notes right there. That was a bit of a rough Pop Blossom. That's like 3 in a row that he's missed.
Yeah, I don't think Hang is bothering with this one though. I will say I think 369 should probably be taking notes from Denethor here in this game because
True.
although Kisno has been the main carry for a lot of this, I do think Denethor has been equally as important. He's been applying a ton of pressure on this side lanes, and also I think re-engages have really been the specialty for this Ambessa so far. When they've got the initial engage from like Aeon or Tub or even Samikin, they want to keep going. It's usually that public execution that gives them the green light to do so. And now it's just going to be him and Tub looking for a pick. Ariana, no flash. He is not long for this world, Orbital.
He is what we effectively call dead in the water. There's not much else you can play for except if Tub decides to face check. But who in the right mind would? Ariana on the wrong side of the map, fully warded out. And you are just gone. Well played. And most notably, Team A couldn't get anything on the other side of the map. All they got was
Yeah.
vision, but that's going to be cleared out in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, especially now with the empowered scuttle crabs, it can be really easy to get that vision cleared out. Though I will say, I believe that crab has been taken, so that vision will be a little bit more pesky to deal with. Or they can just say,
Wow.
you know what, screw it, we're so strong, and we have a numbers advantage with Ariana dead for another 20 seconds that we're just gonna rip the Baron.
Oh, do it. Oh, do it. Tahe is so, like, 75% HP is so dual right
there
now.
we
Another
go.
catch on the far end. Perfect execution misses, though. So this might be the turnaround. However, Banner's already gone. Down goes Tahe as Denethor flashes for it. Good snap on the other side. Samikin comes around the end. And this will be the denial. And Thrall tries to get one back, but the rest of your team is dying. TP in so late. And I wonder if Ariana can get anything else. That is Tub going down. But this is a double kill for Kisno as they are saying, how's this taste? Baron up on 3, well played by Team B as they take over the mid lane.
It's actually not a horrible trade for Team A at the end, but we also are looking at Baron, right? So it's really hard to even call it winning or even net even at this point, simply because that Nashor buff survived on 3 members, one of which is the 13-0 and 2 Kai'Sa. So I do think that Team A, they try their best to look for kills after the objective has already been taken, but they just aren't able to find all of them. And now you've got about 90 seconds until Soul is up. A lot of people like to clown on, or no, this isn't Cloud Soul. This is Hextech Soul. No one clowns on Hextech Soul.
I was
Hextech
about
Soul,
to say, what are you talking
Soul
about?
is the cool kid. Hextech Soul is the cool kid. My bad.
Oh, we can't be doing
Kisno?
Cloud Soul like that, but Kisno is on a little bit of the wrong side, but waited for the dash from Tahe. Immediate escape with the Killer Instinct, perfectly played.
Not even close, baby. In Donkey's voice, as has to use that Killer Instinct defensively, but it's level 16 at this point, so the cooldown is basically minuscule. And by the time Team B initiate a fight, it should be back up. You can see it's already halfway off of cooldown. And that means they could just keep up the siege. They know they have the ability to snap engage with the Kai'Sa to follow up, so they don't have to be afraid of anything Team A really throw at them.
Let's see if it's played out any further. But with a tag, it doesn't feel like Team B are really willing to fully commit for a tower. They are still waiting for, I think, just a pick on the far end. They know Ariana has to step up a little bit to clear the waves. So are they going to wait any longer? Clone goes out. I love that dance. You know it's tough at that point, but it's still fun to watch as the dragon is up in about 10 seconds. And that's where the real trap is being laid.
Yep, they're just waiting in the bush. They're not going to face check, though. They know what's on the other side. The question is, who is going to pull the trigger first here? It looks like Mixture wants to look for something, and he will find something.
Yeah, well, that something is a pretty beefy Denethor. In goes a catch pop
Oh,
blossom.
boy.
1-3, that's what you wanted. One time it hits, and the rest of the team falls. Team A caught in the mix-up, and the chase is on for blood and body. Toasty is burnt, and that is Team A aced by Kisno to finish 16-0-4 as Team B rush the Nexus.
Kisno with the autofill diff on the Kaisa, but it is Aeon, Crystal, and Tub that make that fight happen. A beautiful Cataclysm, plus a beautiful Pop Blossom, and a beautiful game from Team B through and through as they will storm game number 1.
Well played overall, in a mix of how does this composition work and why did it fail. Team B said Top Esports. You just got to give the ADC some credit there. Well played by Kizna, who was propped up 16-0-4, unkillable. And Denethor, really well played on the top side as well. You can see where a lot of that damage resided, but the control, it felt like Team B had from the start of the game to the end, only really hiccuped once or twice.
And it really felt like once that mid lane pressure in favor of Toasty kind of subsided and loosened a little bit, that Samakin in particular getting those 2 kills on the dive, once that Annie didn't become such a sore spot for Team A, or rather for Team B, it really did feel like Team A struggled to find a lot of these angles. Like, what point of attack can we go for? They didn't really have an answer after the Annie got ahead. So I do think it was a mix of that, and then also just a mix of Team B being really, really decisive and very airtight when it came to grouping up. They were 5v5ing constantly, they were deathballing constantly, and I do think that this is a comp that wants to accomplish that, right? You're going full engage, you need to have everybody on board, and everybody was riding that ship through and through. So really good stuff from Team B. And now, though, like we said at the beginning of the cast, beginning of the stream, these first 2 games, the exact same comp. So now we're going to have to see Team B on the other side of the spectrum, and if they can pilot this composition to a victory in game number 2. So that'll be really interesting. And who knows, maybe that the comp for Team B is just super broken and Team A stomp them harder.
If that's true, Top is like, dude, I don't know what to say about that one. That would be rough. We are going to go to a very short break. Allow the coaches a bit of time to go ahead and sit on in, talk to the players, and see what's up. I believe for Team A, it is Dios, and then for Team B, it is Quash. So very big shout out to them for stepping in, giving their time to talk to the players. We will go to a little bit of a break. When we come back, Team B on Team Blue, and Team A on Team Red. Same compositions. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Time to go for game number 2, and now we get to see how the shoes fit on other feet. Are they too big? Are they too small? Are they just the right size? I have no idea because I'll be very interested to watch as teams have swapped. Team B now running the opposite side. Team Blue's draft, which we saw, it was the Rumble, the Wukong, the Aurora, that Corki, and the Nautilus. And then for Team A, it is going to be that Mbessa, the J4, the Annie, the Kaisa, and that Nico.
Yeah, so like we saw last game, it was Team B kind of with just a devastating game. We saw
Yep.
the proactivity all over the map. Kisno in particular, I thought was tearing it up on the Kaisa. But if our producers are saying accurately here, I do believe... okay, no, I thought Sajed might have been back, but it doesn't look like Sajed is in the lobby, so we are going to be sticking with Kisno. That's exciting because I think that Kisno... obviously is one of the more high up junglers. A lot of people are looking at him in the NACL as potential future LCS. It feels so good to say LCS, by the way. Future LCS prospects for, potentially season 2026 and beyond. And I feel like when we see performances on him where he's not even maining the role, I just think that it really shows this all-encompassing player who is not necessarily tied to his gameplay, but it's tied to his comms, tied to his ability to communicate with the team. And I do think that if he's able to do that on multiple different roles, it really completes him as a player. So I'm excited to see what more he can bring to the table on the Corki, a champion who, has a bit of similarities to the Kaisi, or a bit shorter on the range, minus that Prey Seeker and then the rockets. But you also do have a little bit more of that late game burst. You talked about this in game number 1, Orbital, and I'll be very interested to see how the team plays around this strength.
Yeah, I think it was also the alleviation when we go back and watch the pros do it. It was a lot of Doctum, I believe, was almost handed a lot of these mid to late game team fights where we saw the Corki take victory for KT Rolster. This time around, though, we'll see if Kisno is once again granted that ability to have fun. Hey, look at that! We actually got mixture in. What do you know? Turn off streamer mode, everyone, please, for the love of God. Thank you so much. We are looking into this game number 2, though. A little different skins on the board, but it is fun overall. And to me, I am again very interested to see also how the junglers pan out. Aeon and Ta had very different situations occur where we saw Aeon be very, very aggressive, willing to kind of dump their life. Mixture, though, is saying, hey, we have extra damage, might as well get it down, and we're going to force Kisno out of lane very early on. Now, what will that result in? It'll result in a recall plus a little bit of a bump towards that laning phase, but other than that, not too much.
And an aggressive level 1 here from Team A, chunking out Kisno and forcing him to reset. He's not going to be late to the wave, but Enthralled chased him quite a bit to where he was able to get a ward on that bush near the Raptors. And then we also saw Team B did something similar to the entrance of that jungle. So both of the junglers should be spotted out here, or at least both teams should have an idea of where the opposite jungler is starting for game number 2. And unlike game number 1, Orbital, we aren't seeing a swap. So it is going to be 2v2s in the bot lane, 1v1s in the top lane. And I do think that we were a bit robbed of the Kaisa Nico versus the Corki Nautilus, because these can get very bloody very fast with how many pick tools both Nico and Nautilus have to start up a fight.
So I do want to ask you then, why exactly would you not want to lane swap? Because remember last time we did see Team A, it was Enthralled saying, Enthralled and Ariana saying, okay, let's go ahead and lane swap. What's the benefit of keeping that Rumble up in the top side against the Mbessa?
I think the Rumble overall actually wins the lane against Mbessa early. I mean, this is a champion that does so much damage early on, by the way. Like, that little chunk onto Ariana, he's already close to about half HP. And Denethor has a shield, so he's got some defense. And it also bleeds into his offense, right, with the heat mechanic. So I actually think that Denethor happens to win this matchup against the Mbessa. I think maybe one of the big reasons why the swap actually did happen was so that Ariana wasn't able to get... Hang on, Samikin.
Oh, Samikin getting caught once again, and unfortunately, it's a freebie this time around. It took about 3 times before we saw Samikin fall in game number 1. This time, it just took 1.
Yeah, and he also burns the flash there. Toasty has to do the same, so... no flashes on either of these mid laners, but still really unfortunate there for Samikin. He's going to have to TP back to the lane with no summoners. We can also see that Tahe is still clearing his bot side. Will be a little bit delayed on the clear now because he stopped himself from that gank. So might miss out on the crab, depending on how the push in bot actually ends up panning out. It does actually look like Team A is going to get pushed, so maybe he doesn't miss the crab. And in that case, it would be really good for the Jarvan. You get a kill, you get a crab, and with the prio you have on the solo lanes, maybe you can move up to that river and end your first clear with 32 CS and a kill, which would put you massively ahead of the Wukong.
Let's see if they can play it out right now. It is going to be the junglers kind of matching pace here. It is a little bit dance on the top side, though, as Denethor is being put in the spinner.
Ariana.
One auto attack away. Ariana doesn't want to fully commit. Thankfully, Denethor walks away with their life.
And really good patience there not to expend the flash, as Kisno does get rooted.
It's going to be a nice little catch, but again, around the side, in comes the big flank, and it's Aeon to try and get some damage, but not much more. Enthralled and Mixture are happy to fight right back, and so far, Team B getting a little bit antsy here as they're not finding those early damage and early strikes as we saw before.
Yeah, they want to try and make something happen, as Mixture is going to cancel both recalls, but he'll get dredge lined.
Oh, but it's all about who kills who first, and Enthralled flashes forward for the kill instead. It'll be a mix-up as Aeon is able to find one of back, but still, ADC on ADC action goes the way of Enthralled.
Yeah, so Enthralled does manage to pick up that kill. We'll get a Cole for it, so we're seeing similar strategies from the AD carry like we did in game number 1, where they just both pick up the Cole. Kisno's not going to grab his yet, but most notably for Aeon does pick up that kill, and also at the same time, I do think that getting that kill is nice, but you are also getting to your camps really, really late. You can already see Tahe is finishing up on his tier 2 Raptors. The crab is still up, so he could cut and maybe look to run interference onto Aeon with that tunneler in inventory. So the tempo certainly favoring Tahe at the current moment. It's just a question of can he actually do anything with it at the current time.
Well, what can Samikin do as we see a flash for Kisno, willing to dance on Enthralled, saying, I have all the summoner spells, but you're Corky with no boots in there. You're not really going to speed boost your way out of this one. Tub, though, looking for a hook on Toasty Alex as we're seeing that aggression really break out at a different pace. Team A willing to dance that tango, but Team B, I mean, they're fighting right back. This is far more bloody and scrappy than we saw in game 1, it feels like.
And Tahe gonna cross over. He's pinging on the dragon, and they do have a lot of members gravitating toward this part of the map. They're all grouped up together. And Aeon, without the Cyclone, I don't think that there are a lot of AoE spells that can really break this line. So if they wanted to go for that objective, could have been an option, but they're gonna think better of it. But we can see Tahe is just gonna go to his Gromp in the game. Will resume as normal, though. Both junglers on that bot side, so maybe we could see a fight break out at any moment.
I think really we just have to watch once again as the scrappiness has really yielded results. Team B, though, they haven't found any super clean engages. All about, you know, who finds the right opportunity, finds that one-on-one. As you mentioned, Team A looking for that team fight and alleviation as both junglers are down on the bot side. Is it going to be met, though? Is it identified? And it looks like, actually, Aeon has recalled, said, I don't want to be here. Tahe is going to walk away. And for all the posturing, everyone walks away clean.
Tahe is maybe looking for something in the bot lane, but everyone is gone, sir. There's nobody here. As Public Execution actually goes wide for Ariana. He was looking for a solo kill there, but won't be able to find it. I don't think he will continue the dive anymore, as Denethor has flash, has the equalizer, and you really have no way to close that gap. So it would be a 1-for-1 at best, and making a fool of yourself at worst. But maybe we could see Team B punish that. Aeon is on the top side of the map, has the Cyclone available, so now this really is your time as the Wukong to make stuff happen. We saw Tahe do this with the Jarvan, or we saw him do this with the Jarvan in game number 1 is Ariana.
Ooh, they're gonna try. In comes that clone, and it's an easy bop on the head. Well played by Aeon to pick it up.
But no one's really going to miss that wave, right? We could see that in Thrall. They were planning on roaming anyway, so those minions don't end up going to waste. Mixture almost bamboozles Denethor.
I love it. I love it. The heal coming in. All you need is one tether, but it ain't going to be enough. And Mixture has to walk away. Good save by Denethor.
Yeah, really big surprise there from Mixture. I wasn't even aware of it, so I got Nico'd here on the broadcast. But Team A initiating the swap. Few seconds before the Grubs, they do have prio. And they do have numbers advantage at the current moment, so this should mean that they maintain control of that river. It's going to be up to Team B to fight back with it, and luckily they do have a dredge line and a good amount of pick tools and a good amount of tools to start up a fight,
Ooh.
because even though that gank went the way of Team B, the Wukong managed to hold on to Cyclone, so he still does have that.
Okay, well, it's a 4v4 right now as everyone's starting to collapse in. Death Charge gonna be brought out as Enthralled is knocked away. Good catch and a half as Team B are showing out a team fight. It's a 1 back, but it's a 1 for 2 overall, and it's Grubs the way of Team B as well.
Really good snap engage there. Tub finds the kill. He has to sacrifice his life for it, but the re-engage, the follow-up rather, from the Wukong is beautiful. Aeon picks his moment, and he chooses it well. This is what we saw from him in game number 1 on the Jarvan. The moment he gets that level 6, the moment he has that ult key in hand, he just turns into a completely different player. He looks more aggressively. He goes for these angles, and Mixture is in the wave.
Samikin says, I don't like it here. Flash, but the heal comes out. Tub saves his mid laner. A jump forward once again as Mixture tries to flash for it. Tub with a boatload of a save. Well played.
And Mixture just keeps looking for the same trick. I think Team B are going to have to recollect in the comms and be like, all right, guys, listen. We got to start counting these waves. Denethor almost died because of it. Samikin had to burn Flash because of it. And now Kisno might be gone.
No, that's just a J4 walking into play. Enthralled nearly goes down, but the barrier keeps you alive, and Kisno is down for 15.
You know that theory that a lot of people have where they say that LeBlanc is Jarvan, or like LeBlanc is disguised as Jarvan? Nico is disguised as Jarvan. That's the theory, and it's proven right there. And Mixture just keeps using these bamboozle tactics on Team B, and that's a kill that time, but I mean, honestly, it still had so much value. It's been getting a flash out of Samikin. It's been forcing Denethor off the wave. Mixture has been doing these little plays that have netted his team these tiny advantages, but those tiny advantages will stack up. So I do feel like for the time being, even though the Grubs are there for Team B and they do have 4 kills onto the Wukong, they can just keep looking for these fun little plays in the early game.
Not just that, looking at a nice rotational value, because Dragon was taken by Team A, it's a heavy lean up towards this top side. With plates still active for another 3 minutes, they're going to try and put as much gold as they can into Kisno, expecting a response. There is none, so for Aeon, you just go ahead and farm up a couple camps, which should also signal to Denethor that you have to be a little bit careful about this spot side tower, which rightly so, but the eyes are actually turned to Samikin. Samikin now in the mid lane does have ultimate available, but are you going to get out to safety? You try, but you're CC'd and blown up to oblivion. Toasty picks up that kill.
Yeah, I was gonna say for Team A, with all the wards on bot side, you know that Aeon is on the top side of the map, and you know they're trying to maybe look for something on that part, so you have to make a cross-map play. I was thinking maybe they would do it onto Denethor, but they choose to go for Samikin instead. They find that kill, but I still don't think it's worth it, Orbital, because as we saw Team B break down that top lane tower and free up so much more space, and Ariana... Sir, do not turn around. Don't look back.
Or don't get greedy. That's the other side as you're CC'd down once again. And guess what? Team B forced the flash out of Ariana, but they still took the tower intel. And I love what you called out. Was it worth it to play in the mid like that? Was it worth to put Samikin behind? Because that's the bread and butter of what Team A did in game number 1 as well. Trying to pick on the Annie. And remember what happened. Kisno got a lead. Aeon got a lead. Denethor got a lead. Is that happening here? Maybe not as much, but it's the same game plan, and they haven't made any adjustments.
It's basically been pick on Samikin, the movie, but feels like that movie was more like a TV episode in game number 1. It's Samikin. All right, let's see.
This is so mean.
He's fine. No Cataclysm committed there by Tahe. But still, I mean, look at the amount of deep vision laid down here by Team A on the bot side. There's a bunch of wards that can gather you all this information. So I really want to see both Tahe and Mixture look for these deep plays, look for these deep flanks, knowing that they'll catch wind of anyone trying to assist in dissuading them. As that's exactly what they're doing. You can see a bot side play is brewing onto Denethor.
TP available. Denethor's gonna hide. No TP to come through just yet, though. So it's a burn of the wave. That's all you're going to claim. Well fought tower dive. Over to the side of Team A. A little bit of a pause. I'm guessing maybe a little bit of a timeout, I wonder, but a little hiccup on our end. Either way, it's still more plays because remember, for every kill that we see, it feels like Team B are pushing on the other side of the map. Tub runs straight into Ariana's face, and they're looking like they want to take another challenge. In goes another depth charge, but this time Ariana
Ooh,
sides in with the
Ariana.
public execution with the rest of the team here. Toasty Alex is actually mixture in surprise. And it's the rest of Team B to walk away unscathed, and they'll take a red buff to boot.
Yeah, Team B, they were trying to look for a similar play that they did on the top side where they just overload mid and get all of these plates, but it doesn't end up coming to fruition. Tub has to use that ult early, and then so you're down to Nautilus R, and then you just get kind of zoned off the wave, so you're not able to get any more damage on that part of the map. The big breadwinner of that all, though, definitely is Enthralled. I mean, he had so much time to himself on that bot side. He picked up a couple of plates for the Kai'Sa. And maybe Kai'Sa just is better than Corki because Kizno is struggling in this game. He's 0-2 and 3, and Enthralled, who was struggling last game, is currently 3-1 and 1 Orbital.
I mean, trying to keep pace, you'll be no Kizno, but you'll be better than what you thought of on the Corki before. Enthralled wants to have that same kind of oomph behind. And namely so, keep in mind, at this point in the game, I think Enthralled was already sitting at 5-0 or some sort, already had cleared the cold as well. So for Kizno, you're actually saying, it's not as bad as I was before. Maybe I can still.
Yeah, you're not him,
up.
kid. You're not him, kid.
Yeah, you're not. Okay, I wasn't going to go that far because we still have a lot of game left to play, but I would agree. I would agree. Like, Enthralled is kind of chasing that phantom that we saw before. Of course, right now we're seeing a little bit of dance inside of that jungle. Toasty on the bot side, keeping Denethor a little bit honest with some of that damage output. But with that red buff stolen away, Team A, go back, recollect, and look at that mid lane as the next point of pressure.
We can see Toasty gave him basically a sunburn. Good damage. Not really. As the dragon is up in about 5 seconds, Team A do have control of the bot side river, and it is really difficult for Team B to look in there. They don't have a lot of champions who love to face check because a lot of the champions that can face check are your main engage. So it's kind of a double-edged sword as here we go.
That's going to be a pop blossom this time. Make sure he's able to find one, but that's in defense. In you go for the side of Tahe, but does Tahe have anything? No, Samikin gets their revenge. Oh, this is like PTSD all over again. Quacks, once again, Team B gives Samikin a chance to fight for glory here in the mid game.
Yeah, and it just kind of felt like, hang on, we're not done.
It's very close to Team B saying you don't get much more. That's the boot out the door, and it's Dragon to Team B's side. Public execution, though, Tub might pay pace, but no! The extra shielding, Denethor flashing over the wall to burn away a life. GG's on that battle as Team B gained the lead.
And Team B just keep finding these random angles to look for more kills after the fact. They get the dragon on top of it, so it's a massive win for them. Now Samikin will have his time to himself on the bot side. This is exactly what we saw in game number 1. You pick on Samikin. Samikin finds 2 kills, finds himself on the side lane completely undisturbed and unbesmirched. And now Team A, their main source of pick potential, which was that Aurora, their main point of attack is completely lost. It's loosened. Your grip on this matchup has been significantly less. And it just feels so bad because now they're going to look for a topside play. They will be able to find this Herald, you have to imagine. But it feels like the game has shifted just slightly out of their favor as we do see teleports coming through.
And Denethor trying his best to stay alive, but unfortunately it's not going to work. In goes that Herald. It does go the way of Team A, and now the resounding fight might be different. Samikin snaps up a kill onto Mixture. Tahe gonna try and run away, but he can't get to the wall fast enough. Toasty also flashes in with a massive Tibbers, but is it enough to follow through? And Thrall gets into the middle of the battle as well. And it's been such a difference back and forth. A possibility as the Between Worlds comes down. Kizno shuts that right down. And the pincer has been completed as Ariana is on the wrong side of the map. Public execution just trying to dance on Kizno's life. But the balance has almost been broken. Shut down will be the final call as it's an ace for Team B.
And it's a pseudo quadra kill there for the Aurora. Now 6-2 and 3. Be careful who you make fun of in high school. Oh, goes from 0-2 to 6-2. This man has had the glow up of the game, of the series, honestly, as he found himself in a similar position for game number one. Silver lining, though, Herald does go the way of Team A, and they can try to use this to gain pressure on the bot side of the river in about 2.5 minutes when that dragon does spawn. But that's 2.5 minutes, Orbital. That is time that Team B can use to look for these picks, go on these plays, use the fact that they have a strong top side with an almost 2-item Rumble, a 4-1 Wukong, and a 6-2-3 Bloodletter's Curse completed Aurora. These are the 3 you want to make plays on, and they've got so much time to do it.
I will say, just calling out one of the other things that I thought was really, really fun. It's just a blink back towards that dragon. It was the exact same way Team B won that battle. The same way that KT Rolster was able to collapse on in their game before. It was like a mirrored moment. I was just like, oh no, oh no. Either way though, back to the present here. Samikin has now really come online, 6-2-3 as well. As you mentioned, the Bloodletter in pocket, 10 stacks on the ring, could be upgraded to Medjai's, which is allowing Team B to now rotate through enemy side jungle and claim it as their own. Wards down as well.
And I love this aggression. I mean, you've got push in mid, you've got push in top, you've got all of these tools to be able to punish anyone from Team A that walks up even slightly too far, and it forces them to play on a knife's edge. You can see Samikin is looking for anyone that base checks, and they've got so little room to work with. There are 3 people, getting claustrophobia, just sticking up towards that Krug pit. I mean, God, like, I could smell the BO.
Oh, what you can smell is Mixture mixing a freaking engage, a wombo combo on top of it. Of course, it's still Aeon to come out with 2, but Denethor is gonna try and hang on. Either way, what a breath of fresh air, but maybe they overstepped. Oh no, and Thrall getting knocked up, but quickly Killer Instincts into the back line, and Thrall gonna use a lot of that damage. Tub is the last one remaining that is alive, because down goes poor Aeon. What a moment for Team A to break back on and look for the Otacon behind.
And it's Mixture and Toasty that find the beautiful wombo combo up on the top side in the tri-bush where they had so little room to work with. They make the room count. They raise the roof on it. And now the Otacon will be claimed 20 seconds ahead of this dragon. They should be able to get their resets off. And the big question is, can they fight for this dragon? It's only the second one, so Orbital, they could give it up, especially when a lot of those ultimates are on cooldown. I would actually like if they don't fight for this. They still have the Herald. They could still look for a tower. I feel like that is probably the better move at the moment than just flipping on the dragon that doesn't have a ton of bearing on the game state.
I would agree with you. Of course, fighting Kisno might be the answer on the other side, but I will say it's not about can they fight. It's can they fight like they did at that top tri-brush. Because the Tub is able to find a little bit of a catch. It might be different, but Tub is kind of out of his element right now. Doesn't want to burn the flash. Has only unsealed spellbook. We're gonna stay alive for a moment. In comes a little bit of charge though, as it is gonna be Herald being dropped down. It is charging in. Good knock back on one. Fight is split though, as that's Aeon on the backside. Cyclone is being held. Tahe on the flip, fighting Kisno's life, and he's gonna use the Herald to try and stay alive. Charges into one, gets knocked out, but it is still Team A to scatter battle their way to victory in a 2-for-4 position. Denethor will keep them at bay, but yet again, it's Team A to scrap and win.
And it's Ariana with 1 count of Grand Theft Auto, 1 count of vehicular homicide, and 1 count of absolute insanity. He's not guilty because he pleaded for it, so that starts up the fight and wins it again for his team. Second dragon will go the way of Team A, and they will also knock down that mid lane tower. This game is so back and forth, Orbital.
It is out of this world back and forth. The seesaw, the scales, whatever you use are swinging so dynamically, and it's been Team A. We have to give credit. They recognize they're a little bit behind pacing. They say, okay, we're not winning these battles as neatly as we would like. What do? We start things off with eyes on Toasty and Mixture, who found a great engage up by the Otacon. Yeah. That peeled eyes off of Enthralled, who is now 6-3-4, allowed to do Kaisa things.
They've really given a lot of room for this Kai'Sa to flourish, and we saw a similar strategy with Kisno in game number 1, obviously, with that pop-off performance. I do think the difficulty now, though, for Team B is just getting through this front line, right? Because that Aurora had 10 stacks on the Dark Seal, now only has 3, has significantly been reduced in terms of strength. And that's a lot of your upfront damage. So if you're not able to get through Tahe, if you're not able to get through Ariana, these guys that are usually starting up the fight and ones that are going onto your backline, then how are you expected to deal with the backline itself?
I don't know, but I just want to point out for the last minute, Tibbers has been Mixture the entire time. It's the funniest thing I've seen, and you're just going to walk your way up. Is the bear going to get the surprise? Welcome to the party. The bear says hello. It's a burn and a half as down goes Team B.
What's a bear doing in Arlington, Texas moment there for Mixture? And the man, it just keeps pulling off these cosplay bamboozles onto Team B, enthralled. Potentially a target here of revenge because Team B lost 2, but he will get away. No objective for a really long time means that we're going to be in a bit of a lull state for about the next 3 minutes. Every fight has gone the way of Team A so far. They have really turned it around since that Otacon fight and have not looked back.
I have to give credit where credit is due, though. Both Mixture and Tub have recognized the power of a Nico. Everyone understands it. But seeing them both utilize it in different ways, Mixture just constantly roaming around as a different creature every single time, a different minion, maybe the Tibbers, and then Tub utilizing the Cannon minion on the bot side, we are seeing in-depth levels of understanding of champions, which I am very, very happy about. Even if it might not be their specialty, to understand how to play is huge. Toasty, though, saying Samikin is still that poor soul who will be denied their life for the 6th time this game.
No more stacks on the Dark Seal for you. How the mighty have fallen 10 to 0, from 10 to 0, from hero to 0, as Baron now on spawn being ripped here by Team A. They are probably trying to bait Team B into fighting them, but it's a 4v5. I feel like this is just a losing battle. Aeon, can he steal it? He's being zoned away, so I don't think so.
There, it's not gonna go. Instead, it's a back away, but Tai says you're not running far enough. Quick Cataclysm on the side. Kisno already Valkyrie'd, but the public execution goes a little bit wide. Pop Blossom yet again. Mixture is saying this is how you use it. Depth charge back, but it only delays the inevitable. Team A, see, we are here for excellence as they wipe out 3 of Team B.
And it is only Aeon alive from that exchange. Samikin has respawned, but he's completely alone. He's trying to defend the turret. He's not going to be able to do so because the Baron-empowered minions are just too much. And mid lane, it's not the only point they can attack. The bot side tier 2 is also alive. And you can see both Tahe and Mixture are there to try and fix the wave with that Baron buff. It's about a minute ahead of Dragon, so getting that priority going to be extra important, as this would be sole point for Team A, and it would put Team B on the back burner. It would put them on a timer to make something happen out of fear that that soul gets claimed. It's been such a fall from grace, it feels like, for Team B. They had the mid game in their clutches, but one little play, one little Pop Blossom, and Team A turn it all around, and they have not loosened their grip since Orbital.
And I'm just looking at Team B. You have the upgraded boots, you got first tower and feet of warfare, but you have not gathered a good handle on this late game status. Dragon is going to be up in about 20 seconds, as you can already see Team A positioning in the bottom side jungle, making sure to clear out wards, making sure to put Team B into the fog of war, clearing out a lot of these freestanding towers. So in my eyes, I'm wondering, for Team B, where do you go from here? Because you obviously don't have a strong push in an offensive manner.
And I feel like your go button, which has traditionally been Aeon in this game, gave you so much power in the mid game, and that allowance to push forward until that Otacon is Kisno.
Kisno's still pushing.
Wait.
I don't like this fact. Kisno is still pushing on the top side. Now it's going to be a Pop Blossom on 3. It's a 5v4, and they know it. Team B call an option, but the turnaround is huge. Samikin said you're at our base. We have the ability. We have a 7-on-5 right now. Snipe to the back line as down goes Samikin. but in a wild turn of events, Team A overstepped their boundaries. Is this what Kizno knew? Did Kizno call me out? Team B, hold the line.
Mance foresaw the future. He said, nah, man, the turrets will take care of you. And the turrets popped off in that fight along with the rest of Team B. Team A overforced themselves, like you said, Orbital, looking for the end of the game because the Corki was not present. All right, Tahe. Good one, bro.
Tahe needed something after losing that many team members. It's like,
Guys, he's got no slate. Go to the dragon. Go, 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 go.
They might be looking for it, and they're chasing. Remember, there are not going to be any hex set gates to play for. Instead, it's just a lot of bushes, but they're going to walk through a lot of information. And remember, not only that, Tahe is still very healthy. See if we get ramped up for this dragon battle.
Yeah, dragon, obviously, like we said, soul point for Team A, who just maybe realized their own mortality in that last fight, taking the first L in like 5 to 7 minutes. But they've got to get a W here. This would be soul point, and if you can win the fight hard enough, it could be just the end of the game. But for Team B, this is a must-win. You have to stop the stacking. If you can get a fight win here, you can get yourself back into position, and Thrall might just be the target.
A nice kill instinct to the backside, but you tried to take out Kizno and it ain't gonna work. Redemption came in so late, and with double abilities gone, Dragon is purely on the table. Team A, though, gonna try their own type of Kizno play, put 2 on the top side and look for a tower.
Yeah, Toasty is on the top side, like you said. He will be able to claim this tier 2 while the dragon is being taken. He did have TP, so if a fight broke out there, he could have joined the fight. But the problem was it was a pick onto Enthralled. There wasn't much they could do. He goes down, and it will be 2 apiece for both of these teams. So soul point denied, and now I feel like we're at a point where dragon stacking not going to be important for a little bit. 30 minutes into the game, obviously soul point is a concern, but if you're a team that is looking for these item breakpoints at around 4 items, then you can afford to give it up, I think. So it's just a matter of how you can play the waves, and at the current moment, we could see that Team B are first to mid and bot.
The game is on a nice edge in more ways than one. Samikin 10, 7, and 6, as you call. Dragon pacing appropriately. Minute left on Baron, and Wars are pretty much dead. Team B given a slight moment, but Tahe wandering off on the side. Now it's almost a repeat. Once again, the bush is in, but over the wall, Aeon goes, forcing Tahe away. It's all about who gets caught where. Maybe we got to see the extra damage. Enthralled stepping up to play, but respect being given by Team B as they scatter away from the Baron. They have to go ahead and defend in their mid lane. And against that minion that is wandering ever so close to the front lines.
And I feel like Team A are able to get so much more information on this top side because of that inhibitor. You can see Team B are trying to defend their base and make sure that the waves are in a somewhat good spot, but it might force them to push up. You can see Ariana and Tahe are looking for an opportunity to get the jump on Kizno.
Are they going to find it? I'm just holding my breath right now.
I'm holding my breath as well.
I'm really just terrified of who steps the wrong way. Toasty is 2 away from a stun. Wave is pushed up. In they go. Team A saying we found a tub, running interference. But remember, Denethor is on the top side, not really joining on in. I don't see the
Samikin's alone in the back.
But Samikin is trying his best. He gets the damage down, but it's not enough. Team A have found marks 1 and 2. Are they going to find marks 3 through 5? I have no idea, but it's getting pretty dang close. In goes Mixture. Kizno dances out. Poor Tahe is going to wait on the wings, and he survives. Team A scatter, and they bring the damage force as Denethor gets ice, and it's an ace for Team A.
And once again, it's a clean one, just like how game number 1 ended for Team B's favor. Team A will get their vengeance on the exact same comp. And I think for the game of Tainty Rollster versus Top Esports, we can firmly say that it was a draft diff as the team comp wins both games, Orbital.
Top Esports crying in the wings right now. Oh,
no, it did!
Inhibitor saved it!
Go,
Let's go, Inhibitor! Is this actually going to be enough? No way! No way, Top Esports, you might have redeemed yet. Oh, it goes down way too quickly. They're going to try their best. Tub holding in the middle. Samikin trying to bring the damage. It ain't there, though. Team A, now close it out.
We thought we had our own little DRX versus EDG deft moment
Oh,
with the
no.
inhibitor respawn. Thinking about it just still makes me really sad, but we avoid that for the time being. Still, though, not necessarily as clean of a game from Team A as game number one. There were some struggles, there was some strife, but I do think that we have to give a lot of the credit over to Enthralled, piloting that Kaisa. Maybe this is just a champion that lets the best in North America really let loose. Orbital.
Yeah, I mean, almost matching the pacing at which Kizno was up there. I believe Kizno was 16-0-4, 12-5-13 is still a fantastic
It's
scoreline to
not that
hold.
far off.
And I like that you called it messy because it really was. When we take a look between the comparisons, which is why the combine actually actively placed this block into the position where we want to see how both sides react to this composition. Was it a comp difference? Was it a player diff? That's what they're watching for. The fact that it got so messy and they were still able to rein it in as Team A made me very excited. We got to see Tahe, Mixture step up to the plate, Toasty, Alex on the Annie, even Ariana on the Mbessa. A little bit of struggles, but at the end of the game, really came through 8-5-12 in their own.
Yeah. So messy game number two. Give my flowers over to Team A though for that performance.
Yep.
On top of Enthralled though, yeah, I do think shouting out Ariana as that big re-engage tool is really important. We saw Denethor do a similar thing where maybe he wasn't a part of the most fights, maybe he wasn't a part of the most action, but he was a relevant piece on the side lane. And so I do think that Ariana, even when he wasn't, publicly executing the backline, he was looking for those side lane threats. He was pulling attention from the map. And so that's what we like to see with this pick. When you are someone like Ambessa, you've got a lot of early game skirmishing power, but that team fighting can be a little bit rougher. You don't have all of the team fight power unless you're really far ahead. And so I do think side laning is kind of the next best option. And we saw them defer to that a lot, which is objectively the correct play.
Yeah, shout out to Sam Kid as well. Bounced back very neatly on that Aurora, but of course that's all we can really say because the compositions are now going to change. Going into game number 3, it is technically Fearless, so no longer will we see these specific 10 champions. It's a whole new ball game at the end of the day, so we'll see how it plays out. Both teams are going to be taking a little bit of time with their coaches, and we will take a short break. And when we come back for our final game of this block, with another block afterwards, we do hope that you stick around and enjoy the show. Don't go anywhere. Here we go, one last time, at least for this block. We get a little bit of a treat now as we don't have to deal with all those 10 champions that we saw before. Instead, we are going to have a fresh draft, fresh champions, and fresh perspectives on how this game is going to go. First bands come out as Team A is back on the blue side, Team B is back on the red side, the Vi and the Nidalee on the flip. It's the Zoe and the Trundle.
Yep, we're back to week number one shenanigans where it's just going to be fearless. And now we really get to see the players with their own comfort champions. And even if you removed Team A and Team B, I feel like you could tell which of these teams was which just based off of the bands Zoe and Nidalee. Obviously, the Zoe targeted towards Samikin and then the Nidalee toward Tahe, who Orbital. I told this to Koryak when I casted with him a little bit ago. This guy's ranked number 2 on the ladder right now. He has 2,000 LP.
That's one way to throw down with the best of them is like, yo, I got the ranking. I got that ability to carry, and I'm going to show it every single time. The Yunara targeted down towards that bottom lane as Kizno has been showing a propensity on the carry champions. We'll see if it works out here. We're looking for the last ban at the moment. It is a Camille up to the top side. A little bit surprising as Camille has been in and out people's hands for the last for this entire combine.
Mhm.
It's a nice little toss to Ariana though.
We are going to see the Oriana opened up, like you said, and now it'll probably just be the classic trade. One way to make sure that you get one of the big two, which is the Oriana and the Azir, is to not ban either of them. So we
Yep.
have been seeing the trade be a pretty relevant thing at the current moment, though. I will say Team B would be kind of smart to get some of these other picks out of the way because the Azir you could just kind of pick on 3, and there isn't really a threat of Team A taking it away from you or anything like that. As the matchup is just kind of a 50-50 at the moment. I think Azir and Oriana is basically as close as it can get. So they're going to get the Zinzao out of the way, pair it up with the Azir. And not only does this give Azir a really good pairing for the early game, one of the phases where he's weakest at, but it also denies a good ball delivery system available for the Oriana. And with that Wukong Fearless away, as well as the Jarvan, it does leave you with a drought of fighter junglers still on the board.
Yeah, it's a little bit weak there, but the Scion and the Pantheon immediately napped up there. Those are both decent delivery systems if they wish, but there's a flash of brilliance. Gwen, of course, recently changed up on the recent patch. If it
Yep.
is locked in, that's a huge way to cut through the Scion if given the right opportunity and time.
And honestly, I mean, I think Gwen still really strong. The changes that you did mention were we do have a little bit more damage on the 1,000 cuts, and then a little bit more damage on the snip as well. So that tank busting is definitely going to come in handy. And this is also one of Denethor's better champions. A lot of people like to coin the term Gwenethor when he was up and coming on Winthrop University, and he has still kept up his prestige on that champion since he earned that title. Things like that in the Camille are what he basically earned his name on, Orbital.
It was the namesake for the moment. Of course, we're looking into the next set here as we're looking at some of the supports to come on out. Pretty much the entirety of the bot lane is where we're focused all of our bans. Maybe not the ADC pool specifically, but enough and close. Poppy and the Alistar both banned away. Great engage tools plus denials. If you're trying to keep your carry safe in there. Final bans to come out though. Do you want to focus the ADCs or not? Instead, you are saying no. We don't have to worry. We need those supports that are so good at providing extra utility on the back
Yeah.
end, specifically that karma you can't let through.
I think a lot of these bans just targeted at supports that make it difficult for you to engage onto them. You've got the Alistar and the Bard who have their own disengage tools, and then Poppy and Karma are a little bit more flexible, but they also are difficult to engage onto. So those all be banned away. Rakan, I would say, is the best support still standing if your goal is to have a little bit of engage and a little bit of disengage. Obviously, having a ton of versatility is it's Rakan's thing, basically, at this point. And now it also does threaten the Xayah pairing, which Team A are either going to have to take away here on 4-5, or they are going to have to come up with an answer to Xayah and Rakan. And at the current moment, Orbital, there aren't a whole lot of consistent ones.
Yeah, it's out there. Going for the Zeri is a nice one. Bring out the walls and you just hop right over it. It's an easy
I wouldn't
pickup,
hate
but
Lulu.
Oh, Lulu would be fun. I
Yeah,
okay, you Mr. Psychic once again. It's not hard to predict, but I'm still annoyed that you called that one. Sivir on the roundabout though, saying we still need a little bit of speed up,
God,
or
no,
is it
please.
going to be the Jit? They're just rotating through ADCs at this point. I mean,
Bro,
just rotating through ADCs.
I swear on God, Jin. Ever since that pick into the Doctor Mundo from Masu against G2, I've hated that champion. It's only been like a day and a half, but it still sticks with me as Team B actually not gonna go for the Zaya there. Instead, gonna go for the Ashe. So it seems like their idea here in the laning phase is the engage for Team A is not enough to warrant having a Zaya in this game. Let's just go for someone who shouldn't get picked in the first place, someone who has the range to get away from Pantheon, the range to get away from Orianna, and the range to get away from Sion. So I do think that Ashe is a pretty good call out. Ashe also kind of a sleeper OP pick against someone like Pantheon who has that global ultimate. You can throw down that hawk shot, know where he is, and then know where the threat of you being ulted is at. So it does have a couple of nice interactions into that champion, just being able to track him and all.
I like it. I like it. And not only that, putting power into that mid and top side when you have such great hyperscalers like the Azir, like the Gwen, it's a crazy, crazy amount of damage. And to me, that's going to be kind of the sectioning force here for Team B, who in game number one showed up quite heavily
Yeah.
in their matchup in the gifted drafts overall. But this time around, they get a little bit more time to discuss because this is the first time today that they are being offered their opportunity of champions. And with that being thought of, we're going to give them a little bit more time to talk to their coaches and figure out exactly how they want to play this. So we are going to go to a very, very short break, make sure everyone is in without, of course, the streamer mode on, and we will see how it plays out for our last game of Block 1 of the Cyto Combine Path2Pro day number 8, I believe, of this Combine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. The players have been unleashed from their shackles of our restrictions that we have laid upon them. They are allowed to play whatever they wish, which falls into meta standard champions. Nothing really different there. So, more of the same? I don't know. You be the judge of that one. We're heading into the last game of the block here for this a day of the Combine, and I'm excited to see what teams can throw down.
Yep, and already somewhat rooting for Team A because I saw Samikin has the Team Liquid emote. I bought that one as well, which it's kind of funny because I think it was Steve, the CEO, he tweeted out, he was like, I'm so happy that everyone is buying our emote. It's the fourth most selling emote worldwide, kind of like what we finish every single year, which is just oh so poetic. But yes, big shout out to Samikin for having that emote. Though, like you said, we're in Fearless here for game number 3. We're not keeping up with the trend. These are different champions than what we saw in games 1 and 2. And yeah, I am really interested to see what happens, especially when I feel like these mid laners in particular really have been tested. We obviously saw Samikin on champions that weren't in his wheelhouse, the shorter ranged mages. And while Orianna does have a little bit more range than Annie, and Aurora, still isn't a champion that you really associate with Samikin. And this is a pretty important matchup in the current mid lane meta.
Considering Samikin has also been picked on pretty much the entirety of this block as well, Toasty and the rest of Team B have actually made it a goal to kind of shut Samikin down, and Samikin has proven that they can play with the best of them as well. I give them a lot of credit there. So we'll see if that changes anytime soon as well. And actually, I think I got that mixed up. I wonder if it was Samikin. I can't remember. It was Samikin and Tub that took over. I apologize. I got that mixed up. But looking at it either way, as you said, mid lane has been one of the higher priority moments and one of the higher priority lanes for the teams. But where a lot of the stars have shown is in that bottom side. As top side, we're also seeing a dance here as Ariana eats a massive faceplant. That's a flash. Denethor gets what I can only assume is a free kill.
I mean, that is just really bad for Ariana. Not only does he get solo killed in a pretty bad wave state, if I do say so myself. I think Denethor should be able to clear this one out, go for a TP, and then it'll be slow pushing toward him, so he'll be able to collect all of those minions. But he also has to burn Flash, so the kill threat really isn't there. As Aeon, maybe a little too far up. Tahe wants the kill.
And they might get it. Of course, in goes a flash, but the rest of the team is collapsing. Kisno lines their way across, rides the rails to victory. And that will be Aeon getting out by the bailout of his team.
And like you said, Tahe flashing forward aggressively, so he doesn't have any way really out of that pickle. It's Kisno that wall rides on in Tony Hawk Pro Skater style. And second kill of the game will go over to Aeon off of an aggressive invade that he initiated. Good start here for Team A.
It feels a lot better as well. This is a squad that in game number 2 really showed up in their ability to kind of skirmish and to cause chaos. Now, granted, in game 2, it was a little bit towards that mid to late game where we saw them only when pressured by the opponent to really make those proactive moves. However, this time, it's been all them. Tahe taking a tower shot, trying to force Samikin into a rougher position once again, but it is going to be played safe as the top side is invaded by Team B.
You could see a vision comb was hit there by Ariana, so Tahe understands that all of that part of the map is open. He could have looked for an invade, but he plays it safe and decides better of it. He's down a significant amount of gold at this point, which has translated into items. You can see Aeon has that Warhammer, so you don't want to mess with that Pantheon at the current moment. But that also means that he has a ton of standing gold currently. He can go for a clear and then just continue his game as he pleases, but he cuts a little bit to maybe run interference on the top side, so he'll lose some tempo for that. But yeah, this Pantheon so far very ahead of the curve in the jungle matchup. We'll have to see if that translates to anything on the bot side, where both of these junglers will end up at the end of their clears.
We'll also see if Ariana is going to be eating more damage. The Shroud keeping Ariana safe here. But Denethor has been rocking out on the top side. After being gifted that kill, I always do like to take a look when it comes to kind of freebies like that. How do you make use of those kills? How do you make use of that ability to utilize that extra 300, 400 gold that you got? And Denethor has been doing an okay job of it so far.
Yep, Denethor, obviously Scion, one of the most sought after and high prio champions for a reason. But this is a strength of his that I think has gone really undervalued. A lot of people, particularly critics of this guy during last year, would often say, "All right, well, Denethor, he can do really well in the laning phase, but it feels difficult for him to translate that gold over to an actual advantage on the map." And so I do think this year it really has been about improving his ability to impact the rest of the game beyond just side laning, which he's always been really, really good at. And so I think Sion is the perfect champion to showcase that on. You've got the side lane potential, obviously, but then understanding when you need to ult down, when you need to join up your team, and when you need to actually make your presence known in a team fight, that's really important for him.
Welcome to the Tub and Samikin show. As once again, Toasty is like, bruh, I've been dealing in a 1v2 this entire time. Can you stop, please? I like living. I like being able to play the game. And it's gonna be a good time overall. So Tub just doing the normal route, wandering around, but obviously not having that pure engage that we've seen before. We do take a look. Dragon already gone over to the side of Team A. Next look is obviously gonna be those grubs as teams are in position.
You could see that Team B are trying to pull one up on Samikin.
Good flash.
Yep.
Very, very nice job just to stay alive, knowing that that was coming.
Yeah. Good flash, like you said. Manages to get out of dodge for the time being. Also forces Toasty to use that ultimate, so won't have the shuffle in case a scuffle does break out. I think it will be off of cooldown, though, by the time the grubs do come up in about a minute. So Team B will have that tool in inventory when that objective becomes knocking at their front door. But so far, you can see both teams are really preparing for it. They have swapped up their bot lane to the top side, and both junglers just trying to farm up as much as they can so those ultimates will be available as well when that objective does spawn.
Ariana being put in the bounce house one too many times. I like how every time we look down, Denethor is full charging, and Ariana's just like, I'm gonna eat it. I don't care what you say. I'm going to eat the full Scion Slam and lose like 20% of my HP each time. And they understand that they can't have a little bit of healing, but it's just funny to watch each moment.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ariana at this point is just trying to... I think what he's attempting to do right now is chunk out Denethor in any way he can ahead of these grubs so that if Sion does... Or hang on.
Hello, on the top side is really where we should be watching, as is the bot lane and the jungler dancing to the tune, enthralled, utilizing that flash to stay alive. As on the bot side now we turn, Ariana says, I got the needlework, you have nothing except some HP. I'm about to snip through your life as a dive underneath, nice shield to come out, nobody dies, but everyone walks away limping.
We can see pings up toward the top side. Toasty pushing in that wave now will move to the 3v3. Team A are trying to make something happen before the numbers advantage hits them, but the rest of them are being really, really mindful of that spacing. They have surrendered topside river control, though, so that will be a bit of an issue if they do want to contest these grubs. Toasty also having that ultimate off of cooldown, but maybe it's a little too late as one has already been claimed, and they just need one more and they can get the credit for it.
I think the rough part is Enthralled and Mixture actually didn't hit level 6 until just now. Enthralled just got the Crystal Arrow, which is why they're now walking in for this battle. And that was because I believe Tahe was a little bit behind as well on gathering that extra HP. So that is going to be a shred as Denethor immediately dies on in, but recognize that Ariana had way too much damage. Ariana going to walk away on top of the dead body. Or Zombie is going to fall as Denethor loses his life.
Ariana with a little bit of BM in the 1v1 does manage to win that one out. It's a trade of flashes as well, so the ability for... Oh, hang on, Toasty.
I mean, you know the flash is down, and you knock him right into Tahe. Tahe grabbing a kill of their own, starting to match pace a little bit more, but in goes Kisno, overcharge is set, and Enthralled is put into the ground. Feat of Warfare claimed by Team A.
Really good flash there from Kisno. Avoids the knockup, gets the distance onto Enthralled, so those slows aren't really able to affect him. And they pick up their first of the game. With the grubs as well, they'll be able to pick up a couple of plates to go along with it. Even though Ariana has roamed toward the top side, it's not going to be able to stop that gold from funneling a little bit into the Zeri. So good play up on the top side there. And now, with the swaps coming through, I would expect Kisno and Tub to probably follow suit, especially with about a minute ahead of this Dragon. You want to get that numbers advantage, and this really strong Zeri wants to be a part of those fights for sure.
Considering how well Kisno played game number 2, you would like to give the ADC a little bit more power. And not only that, Kisno knowing that Enthralled is on this Ashe, which is going to take a little bit longer to scale up, getting that 1-0-1, getting a little bit of a CS lead is going to be very nice, especially with Tub in the back pocket. As we go ahead and see the lane adjustments come back out, it will be
Yep.
Team B placing their ADC and support in the bottom side, whereas we actually see Kisno and Tub placed into the mid lane, a little bit of a shift with Samikin up to deal with Ariana.
It's 20 seconds until that dragon comes up, and you can see that both Kisno and Tub are in that mid lane, like you said, so they'll be able to get shoved there and move on down toward the river. I will say Team B have set up pretty nicely around this objective, but maybe overstayed their welcome.
Oh, Mixture barely could get away, which opens up space for the rest of Team A. The CC layering was perfect for a two-piece from Team A.
A Mixture trying to lay down that vision, but just slightly oversteps his hand, and the CC chain lands onto him. He gets turned into a squirrel as well, so a bit unlucky there. Isn't able to get away. And then what follows suit is Tahe joining him in death. So it's 2 over to Team A and a dragon to go along with it. Their second of the game, and that is already feats, by the way. We're 11.5 minutes in. This will be their third objective. They already have 3 kills, so upgraded boots before plates even spawn is a huge deal for these guys.
I mean, it's massive gold influx, and they're chilling on that amount. See a top side, though, is still getting dance on. Samikin is once again in a little bit of danger. Over the wall, Toasty goes, has that shuffle, and Samikin says no, what a draw back to turn the damage, but nobody is in position. So Samikin really getting picked on, but again for Team A, creating space for the rest of the team to funnel their gold.
Yep. Samikin does what Ruler couldn't all the way a couple years ago in the semifinals, is hang on, Aeon.
All right, diving on in. You have the shield, you have the heals, you have that wild growth. Maybe an extra spear underneath, but very nice body block coming up from Mixture. Mini Enthralled gets to live.
And Aeon is looking for blood.
Oh, no.
Blood actually turned around.
No. You stepped back, bro. How dare you? TP so late from Toasty Alex. And I mean, Enthralled and Mixture were out. Toasty Alex now recognizes that maybe I don't want to be here as they're going to turn it around. It's a 3-set again. Kisno skirts over the wall, says, I am the skater. Watch me get those points. Team A running away with this early game.
Yeah, Team A, in particular, Aeon, just looking for all of these aggressive avenues. We saw that ultimate come through on the top side before the grubs, and it didn't net a kill like it did here on the bot side, but it did give them the ability to leverage control of that side of the river. And so we're seeing a similar thing here. They get the kills this time, but they supplant a bunch of vision on that part of the map. They make it really difficult for Tahe to look for some type of a counter punch and get this gold back for his team. And so what results is Team A just completely taking over the map one quadrant at a time and leaving no room for surprises by Team B.
And I love it. It shows their aggression, their level-headedness as well. Toasty, for what feels like the infinite time trying to catch Samikin out. Samikin is showing their strength. A shockwave just to clear some of the minions. They're 0-1-0, and yet I feel like Samikin has drawn the most pressure of this game so far.
Oh, of this entire series. I'll do you one better. This man has been the bullying target of games 1 and 2 and is being bullied here in game number 3 as well. They just won't let this guy have a moment of peace, and rightfully so. He's been one of the biggest performers in the Combine, and he's not even on his signature champions in this block. So to see him perform on those is really good as Ariana, needlework.
It's happened before, but on the bot side is really where our eyes are at. Samikin trying to stay alive, but the dive is in, and they do turn it 1-for-1. Can they turn it ever further? As the dance is on, as Kisno was able to find another fight, and says, hello, Mixture. Guess what? You walked right into my plan, and the trap has been sprung as Team A still come out 2 for 3.
Teleports behind you. Nothing personal, kid moment there for Kisno as he just leaves Mixture in the dirt along with Toasty and Enthralled. It's a winning trade there for Team A. On the bright side, though, Ariana getting a solo kill onto Denethor. So all of that bullying, all of those negative trades for the Gwen, finally, he's starting to get the better of the Scion because he has that Riftmaker in inventory. So, I mean, realistically, this is one of Denethor's best, or one of his best champions, so he should know how to play against it. But Ariana as well, I think is really good on things like the Gwen. Gwen specifically, not one of the champions I would say he's known for, but when he is able and unleashed and has the potential to really get going and go for these fights, I feel like that is when he is at his best. So once we see this Gwen on 2 to 3 items, I really want to see Ariana turn up the heat. And I feel like it's on Team A to either prevent that from happening or create a win con of their own, which luckily, Orbital, I would say they have two, which is Aeon and Kizno, both 4-0-4 and 5-0-4.
Yep. Well, I would say for the Pantheon, you're win con up until about 22 minutes into the game, and then you better hope you land a point and click CC. That's what I'm looking for. But I do agree that at the current moment, he is a huge point. Aeon has been playing so cleanly. They have made sure to put priorities down for all the right opponents. The arrow from downtown is going to be able to grab as I was sent from mid lane, full charge, 3 seconds. Team B turned that top side on its head.
And it feels like Team A, I mean, sure, the arrow lands and that gives them an opening to go for the fight, but as it stands, I feel like they were just a little too far up. You didn't have vision of a lot of these Team B members. You were looking for the tier 2. I think they just wanted to escort the Herald into the tower, and then they would have left. But that split second choice costs 2 lives, and Team B gonna pick those ones up for now as Ariana reaping the rewards of that. Now 4-1 on the Gwen, getting a ton of gold, and also just being alone on the side lane. It seems like Team A not too concerned with dealing with him. They want to go for the second dragon, so that means forsaking their top side.
Which I like this kind of split position. If you get the dragon, you put yourself on soul point. That can be a huge negating factor in keeping this Pantheon relevant as well. But the top side fell, I think, a little bit too quickly for their liking. They did send up Samikin for a moment. TP is still about 10 seconds off. So it is going to be a 4v4 for the moment. And keep in mind, Toasty Alex has been hunting for a lot of these kills. But Tahe, a little bit slow to this one. They have a ward inside the pit. It is going to spot out this dragon. And Team A peel off. TP available for Ariana if they so wish. I don't know where this is actually going to go as it's slowly chipped away. It is covered. Team A complete. And now they're chasing on enthralled. Arrow to the face. Kizno, though, saying I can fight this one. No chances of flash. Barrier out. It will be Dragon for more, but the tower was a big part.
Yeah, has to use both defensive summoner spells. To escape death as Toasty trying to get some stuff accomplished on the side lane like Ariana did on the top side, but Denethor will be there to run interference. And yeah, I mean, realistically, Team B not able to contest that because Gwen wasn't in the area, got that tower, but didn't have an opening to reset and teleport to the fight. So because of that, they don't want to chance it. They don't want to risk it. Their main source of damage not being present means that that'll be enough for them to just say, you know what? It's soul point. Let's just prevent them from getting soul, which is a really risky mindset to have, but I feel like it is the objective correct one at the moment, as the rest of Team B minus the Gwen are really far behind their counterparts, Orbital.
I like the way that you put that. It's just minus the Gwen is such like a very large eyeball on the back. It's just like, yeah, it's everyone but the Gwen. Gwen is doing just fine. Eyes out, though, as we do watch the rest of Team B actively chase and say we do want to catch up to our counterpoints at this time. Right now, the mid laners, Samikin and Toasty, have been on the wrongful end of a lot of deaths. 0-3-2 and 0-2-2 have more been farming very, very heavily and trying to keep themselves in the right space. Kizno, though, once again back in a very comfortable position, almost cosplaying enthralled on that Kai'Sa from before. 5-0-4, currently very unkillable. And farming up a storm at a item and a half should be able to recall and pick up that IE at the end as well. So probably 2.5 items when you come back to battle.
He's cosplaying Enthralled from game 2, but dare I say he's also cosplaying DZ Kizno from game number 1.
Oh, that might be one to play for. We are looking for a challenge as a Denethor is here. Once again, we see this 1v1, eyes out, and it's a big whiff. Ariana saying, I can take the tower for a little bit longer, but how much more can I do? Not much.
Yeah, misses the last proc of the, oh, hang on.
Eyes out, it's gonna be a challenge. A nice little bump, no force. Poor Tahe is like, bro, that kind of hurt at the end of the day.
Yeah, Tahe taking a little bit of damage, but not enough to actually be life-threatening, as both teams looking for some type of initiation to get an advantage, but not going to be able to find it. In fact, don't really get a ton at the end of the day. I mean, no flash is burned. The only one that is down for Team B is Enthralled, so As long as he's able to keep that distance, do what Ash does best, then he should have no issues, as Aeon maybe a little too far up.
And they're going to get bailed out once again. Wild growth to keep you safe, but the arrow from downtown is dodged away. And I'll be honest, Enthralled has been really solid on landing some of those cross-map arrows. This is one of the first ones that they didn't land. But the Otacon is really the eyes that we're watching for, so I am keeping my brain centered. Is it going to be close? And nobody wants to go for it. Nobody wants to touch it. They know how dangerous an Otacon throw can be.
And Team A, they have gravitated 4 members toward that bot side, so they're actually giving up some waves here in the mid and top lane. You could see that Denethor is there to cover on Ariana, make sure that the Gwen doesn't threaten the tower, but they're a little late to the mid lane. Enthralled is able to farm some camps, or farm some CS, I should say. And now Toasty is able to do some on the bot side. So we talk about these scaling threats on Team B behind the Gwen, who haven't really had the easiest of game 3 so far. They're getting a lot of this free CS and being able to kind of scale back into this game because they are playing the map just a little bit better.
I like it. You got to play the map if you want to play the game, and if you want to play the game, you got to get some kills. Mixture running interference, as that's going to be Aeon walking away a little bit squeaky free, but the Otacon was started up. We're starting to see inklings of a few fights here and there, but namely Team B actually is saying, hey, for this blue side, we want to keep eyes on that dragon as much as possible. We get the Ocean Soul. It's going to be prime pickings for us. And that's going to be the big option. Kizno dancing right now, checking every corner of the map, but saying no big deal. And remember how fast it can join on in. No, it's going to happen again. I swear, Kizno, ride that same rail. You know you want to, but the redemption comes in, keeps the rest of red team safe.
And that was a Crescent Guard forced out there by Tahe, so won't have this tool for an Otacon fight and won't have it for a Dragon fight, as that is also coming up in about 15 seconds. Both the teams posturing for a fight!
And the shockwave lands on 2. In comes the unstoppable onslaught, forcing the zoning out as poor Aeon, or poor Tahe is left all alone. Samikin has had enough and takes a kill back for themselves as Team B, who I so mistakenly called out wrong, has been stomping their way to a solid victory. 2K in the lead, Dragon next on the chopping board. Are they going to get it though? You can see Ariana and Enthralled looking for a chance to mix in the bag. Ball is out, but no shockwave available. Smite should be available. And Kizno says no dice. I will take your life plus the dragon plus more as Enthralled. You ain't running away. You got flash and barrier, but how far can you run? Stun over the wall into the knockup. Samikin throws some metal at the back of your head. Team B, take it all.
And Team B, they get a 23-minute soul. It's 6-0-5 here for Kizno and 2 kills for Samikin. So again, the local bullying targets, you can knock him down for like 20 minutes. That's acceptable. But as soon as the Otacon spawns, the man flips a switch and he turns the lights out for you. He turns your screen gray and black. And it won't just be soul. It won't just be a couple of kills. It'll be the Otacon to go with it, like the cherry on top. And meanwhile, Team A are going to get nothing. Ariana's efforts to knock down that mid-tier 1 will be in vain. Sion is too tanky. And this game slowly starting to slip out of Team A's control.
We say that like all the dragons didn't go Team B's way. We're saying that like all the kills haven't landed into Kizno and Samikin's pocket. We're saying that like Aeon's has not been almost in control this entire time. 4-1-5. Yes, the scoreline hasn't rounded out much further since that earlier 4-0-5 position. But this is where we see this game really get into pace of Toasty, you gotta be that big damage. Hey, Ariana, we need you to do some damage. And yet they're not gonna have that many opportunities. I can foresee maybe 2 or 3 team fights left before your base is cracked and the game is over.
And it feels like now Team A are on a timer to make something happen. You have to be, hoping and praying for that Elder to bring you back in. But as it stands, a lot of your champions just aren't really in a position to fight right now. I mean, Toasty is only on 2 items. Ariana isn't even at his 3rd. So a lot of these breakpoints just aren't there. As Kizno, that's just an easy flash away, and he's looking for more.
Well, Kizno saying, hey, maybe I got it, but that is a great quickness coming in here. For the first time, it feels like they have it, but Samikin looking for the shockwave, double flash out, and Enthralled will survive as well. So only Kizno goes down, a lot invested as Team A looked for the Baron.
Oh, they're going in!
And they're going to try and chance it. Samikin still is on the killing spree, and now the fight back. Team A say we want revenge. Good shield to come out, but the knockup isn't going to land. A jump over the wall, though, as the Pantheon tried their best, but the throttle is left to the walls as Samikin is still very much healthy. Samikin with that ball and chain says, let me send you to the grave. Another knockup lands Ariana in the wall jail, and I don't think they're getting away. Double for Samikin as they're 5-3-3, and Team A are on the out.
And Team A have to scramble and run. The ones who initially found Kisno on a pick and opened up that fight with a numbers advantage, they are the ones that end up falling. The Zeri is not the only one accelerated. It is the Pantheon and now the Orianna as well that can send you to the grave, like you said, Orbital. And I love the snap decision-making there from Team B. I think they understood that with that pick onto Kisno, it could have been an immediate turn onto the Baron with those numbers advantages, and they couldn't let them plant their feet on that circle. They couldn't let them plant their feet on that pit, so they opt to go for the fight. They opt to hit them while they're in transition, and it works out beautifully. They find the fight, they deny what could have been a Baron, and they stop Team A dead in their tracks the moment they find an advantage in this game.
Eyes are turning. Team B getting to flex their muscles. And they're saying we have that chance. Toasty getting over the wall, but Team B want the Baron. Mixture walking in, quickly dashing out, saying, I don't want to be here right now. With the redemption first, only level 9. Those escape tools and that HP ain't really in your pocket, while Ariana is still free farming, trying to get that Rabadons before the next big battle.
Yep.
Baron's already started up, and this worries everyone.
He has 2 needlessly large rods, so off this back, maybe he can get it. He has to hurry, though, as the Baron has been started. They're putting him on a timer to make a move. He maybe just has to TP without that 3-item spike in hand. They're taking a little bit to actually go for the Nasher, so maybe this does open up the opportunity for Ariana.
Really solid, but that's going to jump in. Can you get a Tae? Isn't able to smite it away, so it's Aeons to grab the Baron, which kicks off the rest of the battle. Poor Ariana will not be here. A final slam and boot to the back of the head. Denethor takes away Enthrall's life. Toasty Alex remains, but the towers are shredded, so at least something comes back. But the pushing power, a 3+ Baron, will give Team B the edge in this base race.
And Aeon, no fear for just face-taking the tower at this point, keeping the very small minion wave alive, knowing he has the Lulu shields, and knowing that he is tanky enough to do that as well. So they are going to knock down the inhibitor to go along with it. This is a beautiful thing for them ahead of this Elder coming up in about 35 seconds. They have a massive gold lead. There's so many more items for them in inventory. Their conditions are so much better. And Team A are caught between a rock and a hard place. If you fight this, you will surely be at a disadvantage. And there is a really high chance that you will lose. But if you don't, you surrender the Elder. You give a huge advantage to Team B on top of the Soul and the Baron buff. It is a lose-lose scenario, but at least one has like a 5% chance at turning this game around.
5%, 4%, 3%, it's all the same when you're facing down the overwhelming weight of Team B. They are going to start on this Elder Dragon. They're saying they want that opportunity, but Team A have to recognize that they need the perfect engagement. Mixture wrapping around the backside. They have a lot of bushes to play in. Toasty getting a lot of good damage down on Denethor, and Denethor might be in a stray spot. Redemption coming down very, very early on. Ariana saying that might have been mine, but in goes the ensemble. Onslaught, Shockwave Whips! Shockwave Whips, they have a chance, but is the damage a little bit too little? Team A trying to fight back, but they can barely touch them back, and it's only Denethor that goes down. Elder has been stopped for the moment. Denethor slows it down as well. Elder is reset. Team A right back to the starting line.
But Tae is so low. I mean, look at that Xin Zhao's health bar. You need to be making sure that he is in a healthy situation. He does have an 8 healing that teleports onto the back. They're looking for some kind of a back door.
But Kisno says, though, thank you, and it's immediate response because the bait worked perfectly. Team B pulled the ultimate con and swing on the Elder instead. A 1 TP for 2 to Elder execution will lead to Team A's undoing as Team B left Denethor to the wolves, but will take Game 3 in tow.
They've got the Elder, the Bear, and the Soul. It's just Tahe and Oriana to defend the base. Mixture is up in 5, but even in a 3v4, I don't like those odds. And I think Team B do. They're going to go straight under the towers, and they will take the 3rd game of this block, Orbital.
I love the entire cascade of situations that occurred in that late game. Team A, they said, we need a Hail Mary. We need a chance at something. And the only objective was the Elder. So let's play our cards. We'll dump everything on an all-in call. And they gambled. It worked for half a moment. They got Denethor, and then Samakin, the legend, draws 2 TPs, and Kisno goes wild.
That was probably the best play they could have made in that situation. Like, you're in a 4v5, you have to bait them to defend their base. You have to force the issue that the inhibitor is down. I loved that play from Samakin. It gave like T1 versus DRX energy, where you saw T1 fighting for the Elder, and then they had to TP to try and backdoor the game. But this time, it actually worked for T1. They ended up winning the game. They forced out those teleports. They gave them a numbers advantage, and they secured the Elder. So great macro and great initiation there from Samakin. I just cannot praise this guy enough. Every time I see him in this combine, every time I see him in NACL, he is always one of the big performers. So huge, huge respect to him for breaking that stalemate that they found themselves at with the Elder. And that's going to be the block, Orbital. Overall, it's 2-1, so teams each getting a win, but Team B getting the 2. Obviously, like we said at the beginning of the stream, like we've said so many times on the Saito Combine run so far during this week and a half that it has been running, wins and losses are fun. They're important, but they are not everything. So just a massive amount of respect, massive amount of outpouring of it to all of the players that participated in this Block 3 today. Well done from everyone all around. They all deserve to be here. And guys, I mean, this is what the North American ecosystem, this is what it's all about. This is potentially the future of the region. So keep showing your support toward these players, as they could very well one day represent you.
And to be fair, they also showed that they're better than top esports, apparently. So, you know, I'll leave that on the board right there. So, you know what, LPL fans?
Is on Fraud Watch. Everybody, I would say.
Listen, you can yell at me all you want, but it still goes to show at the end of the day, they know what to play and how to play if they need. As you said, awesome talent here on the day for Block 1, but there is another block at the end of the day. Block 2 will be starting at, I believe, 5 p.m. PT, which is just in over an hour.
Hour and
from
15.
this timeline. Yeah, so make sure to go tune into that one, as we'll have 10 fresh players that will also have the stipulation of playing the KT Rollster and Top Esports game number 1 from the world stage. It'll be a lot of fun to see how that one turns out. With that being said, though, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the Saito Path2Pro Combine Block 1 for the day. My name is Orbital. With me has been Quax, and we had Loki on the production. We'll see you all next time.